Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Welcome to the May 27th, 2025 City of Burlingame Game Planning Commission meeting. For all in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person and using the Zoom webinar format. Please note that we are not accepting remote public comment during commission meetings. Agenda item number 2, roll call. The record should note that all 6 members of the commission are present this evening.
Yes, thank you, Chair Horan. I would also like to take this time to first thank Commissioner Lowenthal for serving as chair and Commissioner Horan for serving as vice chair this past year. This evening, we are rotating officers. So for this coming year, Commissioner Horan will be chair and Commissioner Shores will be vice chair. Commissioner Say will be the secretary. This evening, I'd also like to note that Alexandra Barnhill is here with us this evening, filling in for Christy Crowell, who is representing the City Attorney's Office. So take it back to you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, request for AB 2249, remote participation. There are no commissioners participating remotely. Agenda item number 4, review of agenda. Staff, are there any changes to the agenda?
We have no changes to the agenda.
Do we have any recusals?
Yes, I need to recuse from item 8A.
Thanks. Agenda item number 5, public comment, non-agenda. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for a future Planning Commission agenda may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, the state local agency open meeting law, prohibits the Planning Commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on any item that is not on our agenda? Did we receive any public comment emails?
We did not.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the next item. Agenda item number 6, consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine. They are acted on simultaneously unless separate discussion and/or action is requested by the applicant, a member of the public, or a commissioner prior to the time the commission votes on the motion to adopt. This evening, we have one item, actually 2 items on the consent calendar. Item 6A, approval of the May 12th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes, and item 6B, 19 El Juanito Way. Would any member of the public or Planning Commission like to pull this item for discussion? Any motions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent calendar with items 6A and B.
I'll second the motion.
Great. I have a motion by Commissioner Schmid and a second by Commissioner Say. Any discussion on the motion? May we please have a roll call vote?
Chair Horan?
I'd like to also point out that I watched the meeting minutes from the May 12th meeting.
All right. Vice Chair Shores?
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff?
Aye.
Commissioner Lowenthal?
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid?
Aye.
And Commissioner Say.
Aye. All right, it's okay.
The motion passes 6-0-0-0. Agenda item number 7, action items. Item 7A, 1551 Los Montes Drive. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, this was that one. No, I actually, truth be told, I've never seen this. I went by the staff's photos, which I trusted. So thank you. I didn't want to be trespassing.
Thanks, Commissioner
Thanks.
Pfaff.
This application is for a hillside area construction permit for a proposed as-built pergola located at the rear of an existing single-unit dwelling. This project initially came in as a code enforcement case for construction without obtaining a building permit. The applicant submitted for a building permit and planning noted that a hillside area construction permit was required. The applicant subsequently submitted an application for a hillside area construction permit, and during the neighborhood review process, the project was appealed by the neighbor behind the subject property and located at 1542 Los Altos Drive. At the first action hearing with the Planning Commission, staff had recommended that the project be denied due to obstruction of protected distant views of the San Francisco Bay. The commission voted to continue the project, giving the applicant an opportunity to relocate and/or redesign the pergola so that protected views were not blocked, and to work with their neighbor at 1542 Los Altos Drive. The applicant has since installed 3 landscape trees between the location of the pergola and the fence between them and their neighbor at 1542 Los Altos Drive. The applicant did submit revised plans on April 25th, 2025 to show the location of the new trees. The original location of the proposed pergola has not changed. That concludes my summary. If there are any questions of staff, I'm available at this time.
Any questions for staff? I have a question about the purview of the Planning Commission regarding the trees that were planted.
So for the hillside area zone, it only applies to the construction of structures, not to vegetation or trees. So your review tonight would be on the proposed pergola.
On the what?
That is on the proposed pergola only, right? That is your purview tonight.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about your project? Sure.
Hi, I'm Chris. I represent the company that's constructing the pergola. I handle all the permits and stuff like that. Been learning a lot from the hillside ordinance, first time dealing with something like that. From the first meeting that we were here in January, we did attempt to work with the neighbors. I proposed moving the structure over 7 feet, proposed another foot lower in height. But communication was kind of hard to, it's hard to tell from that one specific view angle. And we thought by working together, we also have the capability to do 3D realistic renderings. I can keep proposing, hey, does 1 more foot help? Does 1 foot here help? We were obviously filtering through Amelia for the whole duration. They were out of the area for a while. That's why it took all the way to April 25th, when she said, you have to submit 1 design. I can't show, here's a proposal, here's the original. The homeowner, my client here, she wants to address the panel as well. She thought that, hey, since they're not really helping us at all with any redesign, let's just see with my original plan, my original design with the newly constructed trees. If you go back to the original staff report, you will see that there was originally trees there to begin with that she paid on a permit to remove to give them the view to begin with. But I understand that as of your viewing, it's not about the past and it's not about the future. It's about what you see now. And we still hold true that with the telephone poles and utility lines, our opinion, any other, and I don't want to go against the staff, and I get that. We're just here like on a Hail Mary, I guess, but we really feel that it's not really obstructing the view if you pay attention to the picture and what else is in front of that angle. But I want her to address you guys too.
Do I have a time limit or?
No?
No time limit? I'm just,
A filibuster?
I'm,
Generally less than 10 minutes.
okay, no, I'm not going to be super long. Good evening, everyone. Chair Lowenthal and the members of Planning Commission and to my neighbors. I thank you for the opportunity tonight to discuss the hillside permit for a pergola at 1551 Los Montes Drive. Our goal has always been to develop our property responsibly in accordance with the city ordinance and with respect to our neighbors. About 7 years ago, we removed 4 large trees from behind our deck, and as our part of our backyard renovation, this significantly opened it up and enhanced the distant bay view for the property directly behind us. While our current neighbors purchased their home after this was done, and I personally went over and showed her the pictures of those trees, which they actually provided crucial screening and shade for our deck. I also want to emphasize that the replanting trees there was always our long-term plan. We simply had to wait for the large stump and roots to decompose. After the last planning meeting, we made genuine attempt to resolve this directly with our neighbors. Our project manager, Chris, and then he did a fantastic job and always helped me to call and text and attempt to schedule a discussion. We even suggest like a Zoom that we can all get together and talk about it. But we were then explicitly told not to call, not to text, and that all communication must be by email. And we promptly sent over our revised plan by email and followed up. But we never received a response from them. So our communication really just through the staff, Amelia helped us a lot. And this persistent refusal to engage, despite our effort and significant compromise, like lowering the pergolas and really moving the pergola 7 feet away from its original location, has unfortunately left us with no path to a neighborly solution. Per planning department guidance, the view preservation ordinance does not apply to natural vegetation. We have seen plant 3 trees in the original location, restoring a natural screen. Our pergola is located behind these trees, so it creates no new view obstructions beyond what our legitimate tree lines already establishes. Crucially, we've recently learned that the same neighbor engaged in a highly concerning and relevant action. On November 18, 2024, just 3 days after they submitted their complaint letter, they illegally cut a substantial part of a hedge on their other adjoining neighbor's property without permission. The hedge was situated such it concealed part of our pergola from their living room's bay view. This incident was reported to the police. Subsequently, when planning department staff visited on January 8, 2025 to take official pictures, the view from the living room window was notably enhanced as a direct result of this alteration. In conclusion, we have consistently acted as good neighbor and followed planning department's guidance. Considering our legitimate tree plantings and their own documented illegal actions regarding other neighbors' property, we respectfully request the Planning Commission acknowledge our compliance and grant us hillside construction permit. Thank you. And I do have pictures to show if you would like to look at them.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant?
I have one clear. So I'm not sure if I'm just misunderstanding something. I know the roof has been taken off of the pergola at this
Yes.
time.
After our last planning, we already took that off.
And that is just until this issue is resolved. And is there any plans of reducing the heights?
Yes, we were,
Your
We're
Proposed.
proposing 1 foot lower. I usually average 9.5 feet high from the level. She has already a 6 foot high privacy wall. So we were sitting about 3 feet above that, and I was gonna lower that another foot. Again, trying to see what angles would help, but it seemed like nothing really we presented was gonna go anywhere. So that's why we're going back to the original, thinking if that's a hope. But at this point, I know that we talked about, you know, with Amelia too, there's string lights, there's sail canopies, which doesn't require a permit. So it's like, looking at that angled picture with the telephone lines, it's like you can have umbrellas there, not a problem. You have an 8-inch pergola beam, it's an obstruction. It's kind of where we're trying to figure out here. So you can see that's before the hedges were trimmed on the left side. And then when you look at the staff picture, once the pergola was already built, you'll see those hedges on the left a lot lower.
Mhm.
So there's different pictures.
Any other questions? Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes each.
Hi, everyone. We're the owner of 1542 Los Altos Drive. I would like to thank you all for the time in the past 9 months to dealing with this issue. I especially want to thank Associate Planner Amelia. She has already visited our house for like 3 times. and see how things going on for the past 9 months. And it's also glad to hear the perspective from my neighborhood, which is out of my imagination. So the things begin after at the hearing, we kindly give the contractor our email address, and we told them that we would like to communicate through email. And we never give him our our numbers, but I don't know where he got the numbers, and he keeps texting me. And the first time I kindly replied, like, please, here is my email address. Please contact through email so we know all the things, because it's hard to communicate through phone call or the text. And we let the Amelia knows how things going on, but they keeps texting us while we're on vacation, and keeps calling us, which is really, I don't know if that's a good intention. So I would like my husband, Alex, to talk about the next part.
Yeah, so we will really like to hope to understand what's going to happen next. So well, since asked public hearing, so we've tried to, like, as Winnie has mentioned, we tried to work with them over email, but we've never received any communication. And prior to the previous public hearing, the owner of the proposed projects has came to our home and talked to Winnie, and then has threatened us that if we object their permit, they are going to plant the trees in retaliation to block our view. And according to California Civil Code, there is a law about spike fence that any structures along the fence property line can be considered as a fence. And then actually there was a case in 2002, I believe, that has established that trees planted at the property line with the intent to I think annoy or create cause damage to the neighbor can be considered a structure. And so we believe that this newly planted trees should also be considered part of the structure. And also, as shown in the plan, it was planted after the plan proposal and is part of the development. And as we believe that they should be considered as a whole package of the development and should be removed and relocated.
Yeah, actually, it's in as they showed in the second permit, it's intent to plant there to block the pergola. So we think it's one part of the development. It's not like just growing natural trees there. It's intent to block the pergola. So it's a unit. So we're thinking, yeah, we hope we can get our view back. Yeah. So you can see things from the photos.
Thank you. Any other members of the public? I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners?
Well,
Commissioners?
I have a question, but that means opening it again. I didn't quite understand the first round when the original trees were there, were they removed? I thought she said to build this, but did she say they were also?
I think earlier than that, we can open the public hearing. That question for you. Yeah, I'll reopen the public hearing.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So just when you had the original trees there, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Did you remove the trees so that you could build a pergola? Or you removed them anyway because they were?
We removed it because we did a backyard complete renovation and removed the trees. We need to rebuild the deck. And then we went through a permit with then arborist of the city, Bob Disco. I remember his name because it's unique. He said the 3 pine trees that we have were kind of, one is has disease. So he said we should like remove it. And then the poplar tree was, the structure was bad because it's fighting for the sunlight, is leaning towards the house. So we just applied to remove all 4 of them so that it was easy to rebuild the deck because they were so big. And I remember we were required to plant 4 trees back there, but because of the root and all the trunk, even though we grind them down, 4 of them's really large. So we've been waiting for everything to decompose.
So if I can just get this right, so you had a pine that was,
3 pines.
3 pines that were at least one of which was diseased. Is that what you were saying?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I don't know that we can have a back and forth, but is there,
Since the public hearing is open, they can provide a response.
okay,
But then we'll need to close the public hearing unless there's any other members of the public.
thank you. Okay, you have the opportunity to respond.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I just want to say one thing. These trees have been cut down like 7 years ago. So it's like very clear view when we purchased this house. So, and we've purchased this house for already like 3 years. There's nothing there. And one day without any notification or like permit, a pergola just stand there. So that's the beginning of this issue.
Thank you. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Comments, commissioners?
Can I just get a quick refresher? Because I feel like we kind of have to go over this every time we do a hillside thing about views and everything, right? So there's protected views of a few specific things and not just generally like a wide do we have are those in the application or the staff report somewhere or?
Right. Yeah, it's listed on the top of page 2 of your staff report. That code section, which speaks to the hillside overlay zone, it's designed to preserve existing distant views. And those views are to San Francisco Bay, San Francisco Airport, and Mills Canyon from primary indoor living areas such as living rooms and family rooms. And again, the hillside area overlay zone only addresses obstruction of views from structures, not by vegetation or trees. And that is because vegetation and trees are living things and they grow and they get big and they die. Unfortunately, trees die. So it's focused only on structures.
Right. Does it discuss partial obstructions? Like if you have a view of San Francisco Airport and a structure would block half of that? Is that important or?
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't get that detailed. It's just 2 views of San Francisco Bay, the airport, and Mills Canyon.
Thank you.
Commissioner Singh?
I'll just maybe add some context. I don't know how many of my fellow commissioners were able to go into the house and take a look at the view specifically from the living quarters. I did at the first go around when this project came before us, did meet with the homeowner on Los Altos. Was it Los Altos? Yeah, on Los Altos. And that was, of course, before these current trees were planted. And you could see very distinctly from their main living space view of the bay, and really their only view of the bay, if I recall, from the living quarters, is straight through that pergola. And you can see from the story poles now that, unfortunately, it crosses right through the horizon line of the bay for them. And that was why I kind of had asked about, are there opportunities to relocate this pergola or reduce the size of it? Because definitely at that time, it was a clear block of their distant bay views for the Los Altos neighbor.
And nothing's changed, right? So,
And it seems like nothing's changed other than trees have been planted.
yeah, so my opinion is that, and unfortunately, I would have to live with my original opinion of denial because nothing's changed.
And it appeared to me that walking, I mean, the Los Montes homeowner, was kind to show me around their yard, and I could see that there are other locations that would be a perfectly good spot for this pergola. Other parts of the yard, they have a nice sized yard, so it just seems like that. I mean, unfortunately, of course, these posts, I'm sure they're all embedded in concrete and everything, but there are other locations on the property to enjoy some shade, a shaded structure that would not block anybody's view.
Yeah, I wish that there had been like story poles installed at like a foot lower height or something like, because like from some of these perspectives, right, I feel like 1 foot lower would be, this is on an attachment to a letter that was sent in. 1 foot lower might allow you to see the shoreline of the East Bay. And I feel like would solve most of the issue, but that's not what the project is applied on, so.
Well, I think when the pergola roof was on, it really did look more distinctively like a view blockage, not just looking above and below this horizontal member. It seemed more massive, if you will, at the time. And I just think it's unfortunate because this had just been brought before us properly, we wouldn't have been built in its place. So it's just an unfortunate situation.
And I would just mention anecdotally that this is a pretty common code on the peninsula. So if you're going to do more work, most of the peninsula cities have these view blockage ordinances. I know our neighbors, Hillsborough, have a very strict one, Belmont, San Carlos. So I'm pretty familiar with these types of issues. So it's not some sort of unicorn and Burlingame. The other issue here, it's not just an 8-inch beam. You have to remember with these pergolas, at least in my experience, most people hang stuff from them, whether it be movie screens or shade screens or lights. And so if it was just an 8-inch beam, I think a foot lower would probably help, but it would completely, in my opinion, block a foot and then down. You can see the airport through the trees. And so the way the code's written, the vegetation really is irrelevant. And we're talking about a structure here that blocks a protected view. So my opinion is that we can only do denial, and that's going to be my vote.
Yeah, I would just encourage neighbors to be neighbors and meet face to face and walk each other's property and try to figure out an alternative design and resubmit. Doing email and text messages is not neighborly. Just meet and talk to each other and figure it out. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Well, then, this is an appeal, right? So we're,
The resolution was
Oh.
to deny the permit.
oh, yeah, that's right, because they sent back. So then I would like to deny the permit as, deny the pergola project as submitted
Per the resolution.
per the resolution.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Commissioner Pfaff had the motion, seconded by Commissioner Schmid. Any discussion on the motion?
Can I make a statement? I know you'd like to have more discussion about the trees, but that's not out. We are not in a position to have that conversation because it doesn't fall into anything we can do. So that is something I think you'd have to follow more with Park and Rec and that group there. So I don't want you to feel like we're not listening. It's just there's nothing there for us to do about that. And the only thing that we can discuss is the pergola structure itself.
Thanks. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Horn.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0-0-0. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $900, which includes noticing costs. Moving on to item 7B, 1868-1870 Ogden Drive. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report?
Yes, thank you. This is an amendment to a previously approved application for an environmental impact report, design review, conditional use permit, condominium permit, and tentative condominium map for a new residential condominium building in the North Burlingame Mixed Use District at 1868-1870 Ogden Drive. This amendment includes reducing the number of overall units from 120 that was approved to 86. I'm going to give you a little bit of background in case some of you weren't around when the project was first approved. The project site is an interior lot located on the east side of Ogden Drive. It's about 39,000 square feet in area. The Planning Commission approved the project and recommended approval to City Council in February of 2021. And then in March of 2021, the City Council adopted Statement of Overriding Consideration with findings of fact and did certify the EIR for the project along with the entitlements. The project included 35 condominium studio units, 31 bedroom units, and 55 two-bedroom units. 6 of those units were targeted for below market rate for low-income households. That's not exceeding 80% of the area median income. And the building permit was submitted in April of 2022. There are currently now new owners for the project. The applicant is requesting an amendment to these previous entitlements to reduce the total number of units from 120 to 86 units. This configuration also includes changes to the configuration of units by eliminating studio units and adding in 3-bedroom units. There still would be 6 below market rate units. These would be for moderate income units. So it's 7% up from the 5% originally approved. And the building envelope height and square footage remain unchanged with this proposal before you this evening. There are some minor changes to the aesthetics on the building facades that were provided in the staff report or the project set of plans that came out with your staff report. The environmental impact report that was done for this project was due to the fact that it was found that it's eligible for the California Register of Historic Places under criteria A, which is for events. And this was associated with associations here with the United Farm Workers, labor activism in the 60s and 70s with their decade-long struggle with the Teamsters Union. ICF, who was the original consultant that did the EIR, did an analysis of this project and compared the changes to the original environmental impact report and prepared a supplemental environmental analysis noting that the project modifications would not change any of the conclusions found in the EIR and thereby exempted this project from further review. So in conclusion, staff does recommend approval of the amended project since this project does provide condominium units, which are a good path for first-time home ownership, and staff notes that most of the projects we've seen for multi-unit in Burlingame in the last few years have been apartment units, so we welcome condominium units. The amended project also would eliminate the studio units and provide larger 21 3-bedroom units for ideal for families. And compared to not building the project, which the site currently contains a vacant office building, we would love to see additional 86 housing units in our housing stock. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know this was a very big project when it came before you a few years back, but we're hoping to get it on its way, and the applicant's here tonight with any questions too. Yes,
I don't know.
Commissioner Pfaff.
Hi, I don't know if you're able to answer this or it goes to the applicant, but it has to do, I do remember this one because it's kind of cool what happened there. But I don't see the actual, nor did I originally, I don't see what their plan is, the mitigation or whatever. There's a HABs report, HABs, right? Am I saying that right?
That would be correct if that was
Abs-
the report. I don't recall what exactly were part. I didn't see like a full list of
The full list.
I was looking for one. I didn't see it.
Exactly. So it's a little bit, I'm not, and he's licensed, but I would really love to see the HABs when it's done and know where that's going to live. And I was not a planning commissioner then, but I definitely attended the hearings. And I seem to recall there was talk of, I don't know if it was some kind of photos or a mural or something. I'm not sure it was all fleshed out or where it was going to appear on the site. And I don't see it here either. And so I just wanted yeah, I'm totally fine with the other stuff. I just don't want it to kind of disappear and become a plaque. Well, that's not what was talked about, just a plaque. It wasn't just a plaque.
It wasn't just a plaque, you're correct. The architect did a wonderful job of working with the CEQA consultant on mitigations, or, well, there was no way to mitigate it when you took the building
Right.
down. But right now, the building's pretty nondescript, and this cool history that we found out didn't come about until this project came. So none of that will change with this project. The plaza in the front that's part of the community benefits under Tier 3 will include some documented history about the events there and talk about Cesar Chavez, the United Farm Workers, and the events that happened there. So that's still part of it. The mitigations are actually wrapped into the conditions of approval that are in your resolution. So we did kind of just include that, but nothing has changed from that original approval. So I hope that answers your question, but the architect does have.
Yeah. I just want to know what is the it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
They were very dedicated to keeping that as part of this project. So.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
And Commissioner Pfaff, if I can add to, if you look at the resolution, conditions number 53 and 54 address your question in pretty great detail. So it talks about timing, what is required, what's required to be submitted at the end of the report. So take a look at that, 53 and 54.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
I had a quick question. Is the reduction of units, I know there's some increase in 3-bedroom, does it do anything to move the needle for our state mandated requirements for housing needs?
No, it doesn't. I mean, and the way we would look at it is we would rather see a project built than no project built and not move the needle at all. So in this case, no, these were entitlements. We're not actually reducing the number of units that were built. There's state law on that, where you can't, there can be no net reduction in the number of units, but this is just an entitled project.
And my other question is, because the entitlements did expire, do we feel that there's some urgency to get this project built?
Yes, the entitlements actually technically didn't expire. The amendment was filed before the expiration and was in process with the city. There actually was a building permit that was in and went through one round of comments as well. So there has been forward movement on the project, and we do feel confident that the new owner that took over the amendment application, which kept the project alive, is quite experienced in the peninsula and feels that these revisions will help this project be more viable and marketable and actually get constructed. So,
Very good, thank you.
thank you.
I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about the project?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Mark Hazeloop. I'm with CHS Development Group. And joining me tonight is the architect who's here, if you have any questions about the design changes or anything. The main change here is that this is a much more family-friendly project than it was before. The unit mix is designed for families. As far as the quantity of the housing, the number of units is a numbers game. The original configuration of the project had 175 bedrooms in it. This project has 179 bedrooms in it. So we will actually be housing more people than under the original construction. I'm not going to repeat the staff report was really excellent. Catherine did a great job. I won't go into that. We have decreased the number of units, but we have increased the body count. We have, although we have decreased it to 86, and under your statute, we'd be able to have only 4 BMR units, we maintained the 6 BMR units that was in the original approval. We have also kept the historical element, as Commissioner Lowenthal pointed out, the 54 and 55, we will be retaining and maintaining our relationship with the historical consultant. And in the courtyard outside, there will be a designed feature, a plaque, a statement, exactly what it's going to say, and that sort of thing will be designed in conjunction with the actual HABS documents and in consultation with the historic consultant. We've also maintained the community room. which under the original plan was sort of an odd duck insofar as it was going to be owned, operated, et cetera, by the city, which meant that it would have to insure it, it would have to contribute to the HOA for the maintenance of it, and someone within the city would have to take over the management of it. Under our proposal now, the HOA is going to keep management and control, although the community will be able to come to the HOA and get use of the property and use of the community room at any time. The residential owners will absorb the costs of that and the insurance on it and the maintenance. So we think all the community benefits under the prior plan are maintained. Housing's a little bit better, and we just think it's a more family-friendly, a more Burlingame kind of project than it was before. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them, and the architect's here if you have any questions on the design. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
I just wanted to briefly say I just skimmed over 53 and 54, so it does include HABs level documentation, which is a very, very thorough documentation with photographs and measurements of the building, exactly how it's built, materials, all that. 54 is the interpretive program. It states specifically it shall include a permanent display with photos. It also says that where is it? The project sponsor shall prepare an outline of the format, location, and general content of the interpretive display to be reviewed and approved by the Burlingame Planning Division staff members prior to issuance of the demolition permit. So at the very least, the staff is going to get a chance to see specifically what the panel will be, and it won't just be, it'll have photos of some sort. So that's just what I read in those.
That's great. And I wanted to know where this HABs report, where does that actually live? Does it go to the Library of Congress? Where does it, do we get a copy? Where is that going? What is typical?
My understanding, and I don't claim to be the guru on this, is that a copy of it goes to whoever certified the property as eligible for historic preservation, which would be the city, and it would probably also be the state of California. If you want, and in conjunction with the Planning Commission approval of the HABs report, made into some sort of an exhibit for the library, that sort of thing, we can certainly do that. The history of this building, I mean, it's the only terrorist attack in the history of the city of Burlingame.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, that part's not cool, but
So,
I mean, at the very least that there is I mean, I don't want to make you do hoops, but that the digital, that it's easily available, the digital version of it, of the HABs. I mean, there'd be a hard copy and a digital usually, right?
Commissioner Pfaff?
Yes.
It does say at the very end of 53, the format of the final data set, the project sponsor shall contact the Burlingame Historical Society,
Oh,
Northwest Information Center, which is the state agency that holds millions of physical records, California Historical Society, University of California, San Diego Library, and no fewer than 2 additional research repositories with collections related to specifically labor and ethnic history to inquire as to whether they want either a physical hard copy or a digital copy. So at a minimum, that's what it says there.
super.
So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, no.
Thank you.
takes-
Clarification.
find the-
It takes a while to dig it out. Yeah. Thank you.
my only experience with one of these before was on the Sutter Mill in the Sierras. And aside from the state and the local town, copies were also provided to, I think it was the California Mining Association. You know, things like any of those names that come up. It's just a matter of making another copy.
Sure. Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? I have just a question for clarity. The number of parking spaces barely moved, even though the number of units went down significantly. And maybe that's the math between an apartment building and a condominium, but I would be interested to learn why the parking is still roughly the same as it was before.
One has to do with the size of the units. A three-bedroom unit requires more parking than a one-bedroom or a studio. So the numbers worked out. We also, the bigger the units, the more parking you really want. It makes it more marketable. You know? And since the garage, it was all going to be in the garage anyway, and the garage hasn't changed. There was no need to reduce the parking.
And then one other question about the mix between common open space and private open space, and then public space. So there's been a shift to private open space by about 25%, and then a slight reduction in public open space, and an overall reduction in landscaped percentage. So I was wondering what drove that.
Toby?
Commissioners, my name is Toby Levy. I'm the architect on the project. I think it came from the reality of structure that we proposed these big cantilevers initially, and when we got into CDs, they were frightfully expensive. We had gone through a whole session of VE. So when we put the columns down, we actually ended up taking out some of the landscape area. We also went back and added more decks to the project, or, sort of shifted things around. And it shouldn't have been, the major thing was in the front of the building where we needed to accommodate, we wanted to take the huge cantilevers out. So we did that in this case. And you could see the previous problems didn't have columns that were so pronounced on that side.
Right.
And that's the direct of it.
Thank you. Do we have any members of the public attending person who wish to speak on this item? Please note, speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
I'm very excited to see this project go forward. I've been wondering about this site for the last few years, and remembering that we had approved this project, knowing that we were in uncertain times. And so I'm excited to see it move forward in its revised state. I think the modified and revised elevations look nice and very presentable and quite similar to what we had seen before. So I totally approve the project.
I'll second it.
I didn't
We
make
have a motion.
it yet, but
Oh, sorry.
I can make.
I was just going to say, I also am very happy about the project going forward. It is sad to lose studios, but I think it's a good point that we are gaining a few more bedrooms overall. And I also think that generally speaking, it's a little bit more appropriate to have more weight towards the higher bedroom counts for units in condominiums. In a lot of countries where condominiums are a much larger proportion of the housing stock, 3 and 4 bedrooms are really standard. And so I was actually kind of interested to see if the original one had so many studios and no 3 bedrooms, or almost none.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see a lot more 3 bedrooms.
Motion?
Okay. Well, I move that we, this is going to action, right? So I guess we could bring it to.
This is action.
This is action.
Sorry, we are on action. Sorry, I was it's a study session. So I move that we approve this project as per the staff report and per the resolutions.
And I'll second it.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Say and a second by Commissioner Pfaff. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
and Chair Haran.
Aye. So the motion passes 6-0-0. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $900, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next agenda item is study session, item 8A, 1508 Vancouver Avenue. Commissioner Schmidt and Commissioner Lowenthal are both going to recuse from this item.
See ya.
While we're waiting for them to go, were any commissioners not able to visit the project site Or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? So again, let the record show that Commissioners Schmid and Lowenthal are recusing from item 8A. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Let me unmute myself. This application is for major design review for a new two-story single-unit dwelling. The subject property is an interior lot and currently contains a one-story single-unit dwelling and a detached garage. The applicant is proposing to remove all structures on site to build a new two-story single-unit dwelling and a new detached garage. The total proposed floor area would be 3,420 square feet, which is the maximum allowed. The project also includes a 459 square foot attached ADU on the first floor of the new dwelling. Review of the ADU is administrative only and is not reviewed by the Planning Commission. The proposed dwelling would contain 4 bedrooms and require 2 parking spaces, one of which must be covered. The new detached garage provides 1 code-compliant covered space, and 1 uncovered space is provided in the driveway. That concludes my summary. If there are any questions of staff, I'm available at this time.
Are there any questions for staff?
Yes, it's really hard without the paper, but in the front, there's already a very small tree, is that right? If you could just, would you be able to flip to the page that has the, right, there's one, yeah, that one. It looked like it was a very small tree, and I was just wondering if, her name's Ellen, right? Ellen looked at this for a possible second tree. I'll bring it up when it's fine. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding it right. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
The applicant's currently being promoted to panelist right now. Take a while.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, good evening, commissioners. My name is Song. I'm the project designer representing the property owner, Mr. Tanzan, for the proposed new single-family residence. The proposed residence is a 2-story modern ranch-style home. Our design respects the neighborhood characters by incorporating similar materials, colors, and textures to ensure visual continuity and architectural compatibility with the surrounding homes. In terms of scale, both the left, right, and rear adjacent properties are 2-story homes, and the proposed building height is consistent with these neighbors. We've carefully shifted the roof lines and massing to maintain a modest and cohesive street presence following the city's design guidelines for bulk and mass. From an environmental standpoint, we've incorporated permeable pavers to support storm water management, chosen drought-tolerant plants, and proposed the addition of 2 flowering trees to enhance both sustainability and curb appeal. Regarding the tree in front, I've noted on the landscape plan that it is a 24-inch box size tree, and the mature height is 20 to 30 feet. Is a good size when it reaches the mature height. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I do. Actually, it was the tree I was talking about was not the one that you have planted. It's the street. It's the city's tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll talk about
that is a small tree.
Yeah, it's very small, and thinking there could be a second one there, but on that strip as well. My question for you is, can we have the front again? Is there a reason why you have a double hung on the bottoms And then on the top, I understand for safety or egress, they probably have to, work in another way and outward. But is there a reason why you chose not to put a, what are those called when they're, so not a grid, but it's a,
Mullion.
thank you, mullion, so that at least looks like the lower ones. I think they kind of look overpowering when they.
Yeah, I thought about it. So it's basically for egress purpose. The upper right windows, they have to be casement to meet the egress requirements. So the upper left windows, they can be double hung or single hung, but I just want the two windows on the left to match the ones on the right on the upper floor.
But is there a way to, I think I've seen it before, where the thingy.
The dual
Where-
dual action windows you're talking?
Hmm?
The dual action windows. So the dual action windows means it can be both single hung and casement.
I think Commissioner Pfaff's just saying, can you do mullions or true divided lights in the casement window?
Oh, okay. Yes, we can do that.
So it's a fake, basically, but it at least kind of matches then the, I think, and it goes with the bottom better, with the what exists on the bottom. So those were my questions. As well as, it looks like you, so in the, on your, the illustration or the rendering, it looks, the upper story looks kind of plain, but on your drawing, it looks like you have a little bit more detail with the wood so that it's not, doesn't look quite as blank and plain and flat. So is that's the intent, is some kind of woodwork in there to make it more interesting?
The windows have pre-molded trims, like all of them have the trims. Maybe the rendering.
I guess I'm talking about in your in the gables. There's, I mean, I see in your gables, upper, yeah. What is that there? Is that some kind of trim or?
Yeah, it's a trim in the middle, and then it's the board and batten on the upper floor and the gables side.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My question was going to be about the vertical siding. So you just said it was board and batten. The rendering shows just vertical siding. Could you clarify what the material is? It just reads as vertical siding to me in the rendering.
On the upper floor, yeah, maybe we didn't do a good job at the rendering. But it is, yeah, board and batten.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think in the material and color schedule, she did a nice job of pointing out exactly the size and details of the board and batten as well as the horizontal siding. I had the same question as Commissioner Pfaff about the horizontal mullions across the windows, the casement window or the non-single double hung windows. I think that would be a nice improvement to make the windows upstairs look less overpowering, in her words, over the lower floor windows. And I think even around the house, that same grid pattern could benefit the other sides of the home as well. Just one question, and I think Commissioner Pfaff was also asking about the treatment of the frame around the gable ends that's framing the board and batten at the gable ends, which appear on the elevations but not on the rendering. And I think we want to clarify that your intention is to build as per the elevations and not the rendering. Is that correct?
Yes, we yeah, I missed that detail on the rendering, but yeah, it should have the trim. I have to look at our drawings. see the size of that trim. I think it was 6 inches wide trim on the gable side.
Yeah, it's a nice detail. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then fairly minor, but on the garage, on the elevation, I think it's a north elevation of the garage. That little gable end there above the patio slider looks like it could also benefit from some detail. Since you have it nicely detailed around the house and even at the front of the garage. Since this is the side that faces the usable part of the yard, maybe you can take a look at adding some aesthetic decoration to that gable end as well. And I think those were my questions. Thank you. And comments.
I just have one quick clarification, and sorry, it's another render versus elevation question, but one of the two pillars on the front porch look slightly different. One looks like it's solid, the other one looks like it's two pillars next to each other. I'm not sure if that's just an artifact from there being a gutter that's not marked or something like that.
Downspout, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Just checking.
Maybe I should know this from the plans, but so for the windows, we talked about the mullions. Is it simulated divided light or true divided lights?
The proposed ones don't have divided lights for now. Oh, previously we added those, but we feel like it's too much with the siding. We have two different kinds of siding, so we removed the mullions, and now it's just like plain window panes.
For the upper floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
so if, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, do we have any members of the public attending in person who want to speak on this item? Please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments? Okay.
Yeah, I think overall it's a nicely designed home. I like how the elevations are detailed out. We've addressed the window, our window thoughts. I also want to say that I appreciate that there were no special requests for ceiling height changes or anything like that. Everything, fell within all the planning guidelines and restrictions, so that's appreciated. And it looks like a nice home.
Yeah, I agree, and be great to see the comments realized about the window. And also, I would really love to see a second tree added to the city's property out in front, because it looked like it would fit. And I don't know where to insert that except for now, so I'm saying it.
Yeah, on that, we'll have to have
Alan.
city arborists take a look at that. There might be another reason why they
Yeah,
can't.
that's, I
But
want to mention it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder, and whoever makes the motion, if you can summarize the direction for the applicant in terms of what you want to see before it returns. Thank you.
And this is not a vote because it's a study session. They'll just come back, or?
Yes, well, your motion will be to bring it back on regular action or consent.
Who wants to make the motion?
Okay, I guess I will make a motion to bring this project back on consent, but addressing the few items that we noted, the horizontal mullion additions to the casement windows around the house, the added gable end detail on the north face of the garage.
And consult.
Oh, and consult about the addition of a street tree.
There's room for another tree.
Yes.
That'd be great on public property.
Right, in the public right of way.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Say and a second by Vice Chair Shores. Do we do a vote on this?
Yes.
Okay, it's missing in my script.
Commissioner Foff?
Aye.
Commissioner Say?
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Horan.
Aye, and the motion passes 1-0-2-0.
Or wait, hold on a second. No, 4-0-2-0.
Sorry, 4-0.
Yes.
4-0.
And I'll grab Commissioner.
Okay. A lot in here.
Isn't it? Yeah.
The next agenda item is item 8B, 2649 Martinez Drive. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication regarding the project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
This application is for major design review and hillside area construction permit for a first and second story addition to an existing single unit dwelling. The subject property is an interior lot and currently contains a 2-story single unit dwelling and an attached garage. The applicant is proposing a remodel to the existing front porch, exterior facade improvements, and a first and second floor addition at the rear of the house. The total proposed floor area would be 6,435 square feet, where 6,508 square feet is the maximum allowed. There are 6 existing bedrooms, and there will be no increase to the number of bedrooms with this project. 3 parking spaces are required, 2 of which must be covered. The existing attached garage provides 2 covered spaces, and 1 uncovered space is provided in a driveway. That concludes my summary. If there are any questions of staff, I'm available at this time.
Do we have any questions for staff?
I just wanted to clarify on a street like this, isn't the planter strip is actually, it's a easement, right? That goes, it's inserted into the.
Yeah, it's just part of the public right of way, not necessarily an easement. Yeah.
Okay, so the tree shown here, which since I don't have the plan right in front of me, the big one, that's not there, right? In reality. Or is it?
I think the applicant can.
They can.
Yeah, it's on the plans. It's shown in the city's public right of way.
Okay, so it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name, and anything else you'd like to add about your project?
Hi, my name is Aisha. I'm the designer and the applicant for the home on 2649 Martinez. My clients are also joining via Zoom. I will give a little bit background about their family. It's a young family of 4. They just haven't got a new puppy named Cookie that they wanted me to mention also. Their daughter goes to the high school in Burlingame, and the son also goes to the intermediate Burlingame school. And they bought this home back in 2021. And, it's a growing family, needs more space. And the existing home was kind of dated, and their kids are growing up, they're teenagers. And so we wanted to just give them the home that really, works with their current schedules. After COVID, a lot of the work was done and home office was also one of the requirements. So we worked with them on this to bring the floor plan, to give them enough space like family room and large, kitchen and dining areas, to really work with their family dynamics. Now, they've also, we've worked with them for quite some time, and we worked with Amelia for quite some time on this project. So we're very excited to be here, and we look forward to your feedback on our project as well. What we've done also that our owners, they've already talked to their neighbors, the one behind them and the one house in front of them. And they've looked at the plans, and they didn't seem to be too concerned about it, because we're not going into a vertical addition. We're kind of extending towards the back of the house mostly. So A little bit of background about the neighborhood. As you know, this is the Mills Estate of Burlingame. Most of the homes were built back in 50s and the 60s. And it's a predominant, like a ranch style neighborhood. There is mid-century modern homes, which, one of them is our neighbor on the right-hand side. There are one or two contemporary and a very modern home a few doors down from us. But in generally, it's a very, typical ranch style neighborhood. And what we've reimagined it to be a more contemporary California, ranch home. So the existing home actually had board and batten and brick and stucco on the sides and the rear of the home. We wanted to really give it a more contemporary look. So we've taken out the board and batten and brick from the front of the home and added more stucco and lap siding. All the windows will be upgraded to fiberglass wood clad windows. And we've introduced, so it's a dark bronze black color windows. So we wanted to create a contrast between the white stucco and the lap siding. We had certain restrictions with the front staircase, which was existing. And since it is within the front setback, we couldn't really tear it down and redesign a new staircase. So we were kind of limited. And what we ended up doing was just to add stucco to it, make it more clean lines, and add like a nice accent black railing to the front staircase. We're adding some stucco reveals, just as an accessory to the whole exterior of the home. The north side of the home has really, has the bay view. So we ended up adding some windows, which you can see from our 3D view. We have some high clear story windows and some lower windows. So those were the new addition to the sides of the home. And we've actually shared pictures of our, from our home looking into the neighbor's home. So we're not blocking anyone's view. So we've been very cautious about protecting, views of our neighbors and privacy as well. And we also wanted to raise our ceiling height, but we knew that 8 feet is the plate height that we had to work with. So we ended up playing with a little bit with the different roof design. In the original design, we just had a big gable, but our entry was not a focal point. So we introduced a high gable in the middle with a 8 and 12 pitch to really enhance the entry to this home. And then we added instead of a regular 6'8" door, we have a 10-foot door with a clear story window. Because we were also working with 8 feet plate height, we wanted to, enhance the interior ceiling height for the clients. So we are introducing some interior vaulted ceilings in the house. So our overall goal is to create a home that's not going to stand just 5 years of time, but we wanted to create a more timeless design. That's why we wanted to bring in the stucco and lap siding, which is also very prevalent in the whole neighborhood. There are a lot of homes which have stucco and siding as the facade materials. Overall, we believe that this thoughtfully reimagined design not only enhances the character of the existing home, but we feel that it also contributes positively to the neighborhood. And we believe that we've set really high quality standard, we're using high quality standard materials, and we feel it's going to be a good standard as the neighborhood continues to evolve. So if you have any questions for us, I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Fox?
I have a question that usually one of the people familiar with building materials asks, but I'm just going to jump right in. Just wanted to understand on your, well, at least we're looking at the rendering here, but What are the transitions between your siding and your stucco, like the piece, the main area where the gable meets the garage area?
So we're gonna have, between the stucco and the siding, we're just gonna have a siding trim, like a skinny siding trim for the transition between the stucco and the siding.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Say.
I'm in my new spot over here. Yeah, just, okay, you mentioned that the front door is 8 or 10 feet tall. Which one is it? Is it 10 feet tall?
It's 10 feet.
10 feet tall. And how wide is that door?
It's, I think 42. I can look that up.
Sorry, I
'Cause
can't hear you.
the door is 3 feet and then we have a side light, so
So it's a 36-inch door
plus a side light.
plus a side light.
Yeah.
And then there's are there glass lights in that entry door, it appears?
Correct.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's a discrepancy between your floor plan, your elevations, and your rendering for that cool corner window on the left side of the front elevation. I think you're intending it to be a corner, frameless corner window, but your elevations show some casement at the corner, that there are casements on the front and the left side. Which one are you intending to go forward with?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, so it's a corner window. It's a corner fixed window.
Corner fixed window, so the,
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
For the clear view of the bay, yeah, so we didn't, it's just good.
I have 3 of these kind of windows at my house, and they're really nice to capture the view. So
Yeah.
did you want to go in that direction? So I'm just trying to understand the transition of your siding. Okay, your material transitions. On the left side of the house, you have the horizontal siding wrapping the front. I think it goes to the left, and then it stops at that corner, right? At the back of the house, you have siding. So you're going to transition from siding to stucco in that rear left corner of the house?
Correct. So if we go back in the previous elevations, it's also actually showing the, there's a door, there's a French door and a window, which is yes, so that's behind it. So behind the deck.
Behind the deck.
So as soon as you come out from the the great room, the kitchen and the breakfast area, we have this deck area and the double doors, and then windows actually beyond that for the master bedroom.
Right. And so how are you transitioning your siding to stucco at that corner?
So we're just gonna use like a siding trim at the corner, correct, over here, yes. And then it's gonna transition into stucco, and then again stucco to siding.
So you're going to have corner trim?
Correct.
Okay, so they're not reflected on your elevations right now, so maybe you can
Okay, we
have
can add
that
that.
detail.
Sure.
And then likewise on the left side of the house, I think you have siding transitioning to stucco again at the back of the house.
The rear elevation.
Yes.
Okay.
So same, oh, I think it's a front transitioning to the right. Front of the house transitioning to the right, I think it is, or the rear of the house transitioning to the rear right corner of the house to stucco. So same
Got it.
detail.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely add those in, sure.
Okay. Did you talk at all to your neighbors, uphill neighbors, about or show them the plans? Any issues for them regarding view blockage?
The owners, can, if you want to chime in, they did mention that they showed the plans to their neighbors and they didn't really have any concerns, but if they wanted to add in.
Uphill
you want-
neighbors?
um,
Do they talk to their uphill neighbors?
Ken, are you here?
They're being promoted currently.
Oh,
Hello, can you hear us?
I'm one of the uphill neighbors.
Oh.
I thought I would jump in unless Kit or Jen want to jump in. My name is Sin Chow. I'm at 2657 Martinez Drive. So we actually live 2 houses up the hill. And we did take a look at the plans, and it does look like the height of the house is only going up by a foot or so. So we can see the top of their house from our living room and our family room, but I think that 1 foot height won't make a difference in terms of blocking our view of the bay or the airport. I appreciate that they're not going up higher than that.
Great. And it's also, the house has gotten much deeper as well. So the depth into the backyard, likewise, not affecting anything for you.
We can't really see their backyard right now. Their backyard's a lot deeper than our house's lot.
Mm.
So I think it was mostly the front of the house changes that would potentially impact the view if they went any higher than what they're proposing. At least that's why I understand from the staff report that it looked like it was only going up by a foot or so.
It looks like it's about a foot, yes, according to the plans. Great, thank you for chiming in.
and our existing roof slope was actually almost 5 and 12. And so our main roof, we're actually dropping it to 3 and 12. It's only like the big gable, which is the focal point of our entry. That's only getting raised, 8 and 12. The rest is actually being lowered.
Mhm. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Do we have any other members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please.
Hi, my name is Ravi Rao. I'm Ken's backyard neighbor, so definitely wish them really well. They're great neighbors. My boys kick like soccer balls into their yard all the time. We have to jump the fence, go get it. So he's always very gracious. I'm still trying to understand the process here. One of the things that we see over Ken's roof line is some mountains sitting from our living room. It's very helpful to hear Aisha say that they're actually dropping the roof line, but like just some sort of visual would be very helpful in just terms of understanding what the changes would look like. When my other neighbor, Danielle, to my right, she extended her deck. She provided like a frame visual just for like a week or so, just so that you can kind of see what it looks like. Something like that would be very helpful if that can be done. Ken, I'll also call you about it. And there is a large tree that is in the back of the lot that's very close to the electric pole. That also provides some privacy both for Ken and ourselves. So I don't know if that's going to stay or go. It's just very hard, if you're not used to looking at like plans to really understand what the changes are, what's there, what's changing. Just between soccer tournaments, etc. I tried my best to kind of catch up, and Ken was very gracious in sending me some of the information. It looks like there's also going to be a lot of trees that are going to be planted, so I don't know if that's going to be required. Just be good to know if like that there's going to be a lot of trees around there as well. So those are my comments, and can certainly wish you the very best on this project. And I think you're making the best of like a very tough lot. Thank you.
Just a follow-up question for you regarding the views. Are your views distant views over the bay?
No, so I'm looking at the mountains. I don't know what.
So you're looking more west?
Yeah, I'm looking west.
Yeah, so those aren't protected views. Also, story poles are what you're referring to. It'd be tough for this project to do story poles because the roof is actually, the main roof is getting lower.
Got it.
There is the middle, we could do
Yeah.
have them do a story pole, but if your view is uphill, it's not a protected view.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. Like I said, I'm just new to the process.
Sure.
Wasn't very clear what exactly was happening. I tried my best to kind of read the plans, but.
And then maybe the applicant could just comment on the tree in the backyard. Is that being kept?
Yeah.
Ken's gonna add on.
Yeah, all the trees, all the existing trees in the back currently are being kept, other than the ones that we've pulled permits to remove. So I would say that's number 5 and 11.
Yeah, you're right, Ken. I think those are the large trees in your yard.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
I like the addition. I think I like the contemporary look with it. And I think that the designer's done a very nice job with it. I would like to see for the next time that we include the window details, so that we can see how those, we're just seeing black lines here. I'd like to see a detail for those section through those windows so that we know what we're getting there, as well as I'm assuming there's going to be some outdoor lighting, which I'm not really seeing a whole lot of. And so rather than having that conversation later, make sure that you're following the Burlingame lighting code for that so that they don't shine on the others. But if you can get those things in for the next time, then it's for sure in for the approval. Thank you.
Other comments?
Yeah, sorry. I really like it. I think she's done a beautiful job. It's very, very nice and nice, clean. Everything looks nicely proportioned, and just those few little details that we've asked them for. And
Yeah, I agree with my fellow commissioners. My only thought is, I feel like the front door looks really skinny and very tall.
Mhm.
So since there are glass lights in the front door, I almost wonder if eliminating the side light and just widening the front door would be better proportion.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion. What?
It'll be a sourcing nightmare.
No, you'd have to have it built. Yeah. Maybe it's a pivot door too, so it's going to be built. But I think that would improve the look too.
oh, that's
And
point well taken. Mhm.
The front as she's intending.
Mhm.
Let's see what else. Yep. Otherwise, I think it's very nice. I do like the corner window, so
Mhm.
rid of those casements.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the design. I like that it's contemporary, but it's not like minimal and stripped down. I feel like there was definitely the appropriate amount of thought. I also think it'll look great next to the mid-century modern house right next door.
Totally.
That's very appropriate.
No. Anyone would like to make a motion? And it would have to include those 3 points: window details, the exterior lighting, and the change to the front door.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we bring this back on action, and noting the 3 items: the entry door width needs to be reconsidered, provide the window details, and the exterior lighting.
Is it the width and the height, or is it just the width?
Really the width,
Okay.
because if they use the full 4.5 feet that's there, the 10-foot might not be so bad. But at a 3-foot and a side light, I agree, it looks too skinny.
Okay.
And then oh no, that's later.
Right. You're done. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Schmidt and a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Horn.
Aye, the motion passes 6-0-0-0. We'll see you back on action. The next item is item 8C, 709 Howard Avenue. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication regarding the project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
This is an application for major design review and special permit for an attached garage for a single-story addition to an existing single-unit dwelling. Subject property is an interior lot with an existing one-story single-unit dwelling and a detached garage. The proposed project includes changing the design of the existing front porch, a single-story addition at the rear of the dwelling, and replacing the existing detached garage with a new attached one-car garage. The proposed floor area would be 1,899 square feet, where 2,779 square feet is the maximum allowed. With this application, the number of bedrooms in a dwelling would increase from 2 to 3. 2 parking spaces, one of which must be covered, are required for a 3-bedroom dwelling. 1 covered parking space is provided in the attached garage, and 1 uncovered parking space is provided in the driveway. This project also includes a new 436 square foot attached ADU on the first floor. A review of the ADU is administrative only and is not reviewed by the Planning Commission. That concludes my summary. If there are any questions of staff, I'm available at this time.
Do we have any questions for staff? Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name, and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Good evening, commissioners. I'm going to work on getting my camera on. My name is Cynthia Munoz. I'm from Stecker and Northway Architects. And I would like to largely hand off the project overview to project manager Annabelle Garcia, who worked closely with the clients on the design of this project, and she has all the ins and outs of the details. So I'd very much like for her to give you the highlights for as an overview.
Hi, as Cynthia said, my name is Annabelle, and I am one of the project managers for Stecker and Northway. I have been working closely with the clients and, oops, my Zoom just disappeared. Okay, there. Sorry, my Zoom disappeared. The owners basically always knew they wanted an attached ADU to get the feeling of a larger yard than what they currently have right now. So however, their existing detached garage was in the way of that. So they would be demolishing it so they could build the ADU. However, they did see the value in having an attached garage to store, they have motorcycles, so to store the motorcycles. And it also offered some extra protection to the crawl space access, which they use it as storage. They have a lot of belongings there, and the new attached garage would be situated in a location where this crawl space wouldn't be, I guess, open to the outside. You would access this crawl space through the kitchen and then through the garage. So that was something that they were also very interested in. And we purposely did a flat roof for this garage so that it wouldn't make the like the house roof line look so massive. So as you notice, yes, it is flat. I don't think there's anything else. It was just a very simple, it wasn't required, but it benefits them. So Any questions or anything else I need to add, Cynthia?
I think you covered it all. Another point in maintaining the lower profile on the garage was it allowed for the opportunity to sneak in some natural light to an existing bathroom. And just wanted to keep it, they're very much interested in kind of keeping it feeling very minimal and not too obtrusive in the overall facade improvement to the house in general. So yes, basically we'll turn it over to see if any of you have any questions, and we're happy to provide more detail.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Yes. I noticed that it looks like you're intending to keep a lot of the existing windows on the front portion of the house. It was a little bit difficult to tell. Could you talk a little bit about what the material of the windows looks like, if they're wood or vinyl or fiberglass clad or something?
The existing windows are vinyl cladding with divided lights, so they will be matching that material and the lights as well for the new windows.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Do we have any members of the public attending in person? No, we do not. The room is empty, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
I don't know if they're I guess they're comments. So today I found a 1965 photo of this house because I've lived there long enough to know that I remember the first time the house changed, at least since I've been there. And the entry used to be on the left-hand side. So it was completely different. Anyway, I guess my only comment is, have you considered, this issue was always there since the first change happened, maybe some kind of a brick molding or something to sort of, the whole window apparatus, I mean, all three of them, and even, this is no change from what the first time it was changed, which you're not responsible for. It seems very high, everything, high up from the ground. And I was just wondering if maybe you considered maybe perhaps a window box or something under that window in the front to kind of visually pull it down a little bit. Just everything has always seemed very high to me because it was set high the second time around. So it was just a question, or brick molding, perhaps, I don't know if that's the right word, kind of around to kind of sort of shorten that long, the big wide visual from the ground level to the roof. That was my only question.
Is it a comment or a question? We're in the comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We closed the public. I could reopen it if.
No, don't do that.
No, okay.
No, it's just, well, then that's also I think they did a nice, I mean, they've done a nice job with what they had.
Mhm.
And I like that they're reusing it again. It's third life, as far as I know. But it was just an observation. It looks very long to me, and I don't, it's not a make or break, it's just a comment.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Any other comments? I think they preempted my question on the flat roof, and I think their rationale was good. Because originally I was wondering why they didn't put a separate hip roof on that or something, but I do understand the rationale. And I like that they're doing a modest renovation and expansion of an existing house. So would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make them,
For the action or consent?
I'm inclined to say consent. Nobody's, I mean. Exactly, yeah. And you can look and see if they've addressed your concern.
It's not really a concern, it's just what I would do. I'd look at it. It's, yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion that we bring this back on consent.
I'll second that motion. I also wanted to add that, that we are approving the attached garage.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
So I think we have to say per the staff report and the resolutions.
What,
Oh, and the next time.
Yeah, this-
Yes,
Next-
that's right, when we vote on it. Yes,
But you've
Right.
acknowledged it.
that's right.
great. We have a motion by Commissioner Schmidt and a second by Commissioner Say. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Foth,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Horn.
Aye, the motion passes 6-0-0-0. We'll see you back on the consent calendar. Okay, item 9, staff and commission reports. Are there any commissioner reports? Staff, do you have anything to share?
We do not this evening.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 8:40 PM.